We'll be going over IRS Notice CP116. This is the tax notice that you might receive from the Internal Revenue Service if you filed IRS Form 990-PF, which is the tax return for private foundations, and they discover a math error, the result of which is that you end up with a refund. So basically, the IRS is sending you a notice saying, we noticed a tax mistake on this form. We made some corrections. As a result, you have a refund that's due to you. So before we go through this notice, let's take a look at the top of the form, starting with the right-hand corner. So you'll see the notice number, CP116, for the tax period ending December 31st, 2017, and the notice date is January 28th, 2019. You have the employer ID number and then a contact phone number below that. But the most important part here probably is the notice date. So I always tell people to be particularly mindful of a notice date, because you might see something like this. An action item where the IRS says, please contact us within 60 days of the date of this notice so that we can reverse any changes we made to your account. So 60 days of the notice, you've got to know that notice date so that you can keep track of that accordingly. So on the left-hand side is your business name, address, city, state, and zip code. And one other thing that I always recommend to people is that you should keep your address of record up to date in the IRS records. So there are three ways that you can do that. You can file your annual tax return, which updates the IRS records with your new address. You can call the IRS, validate your identity and your account information, and then change the address over the phone, or you can file the change of address form. So the IRS Form 8822 is the change of address form for individual taxpayers. IRS Form 8822-B is the one that you would use to change the address for an existing business. So we'll put links to resources we've created on both of those forms, as well as other forms mentioned in this video. We'll put links to them in the show notes. So keep in mind that if your notice goes out and goes to an old address and then has to catch up with you at your new address, that's going to be additional time that you may not have to actually respond to the notice once you receive it. So again, keep your address up to date. That way, if the IRS sends correspondence to you, you get it immediately. And virtually every taxpayer says, well, I don't get notices. Most taxpayers who receive a notice aren't expecting it. So you should always keep your tax records up to date. That way, if you get a notice out of the blue, you can quickly handle it as soon as possible. So the summary of this basically says your 2017 Form 990-PF, we believe that there is a mistake in tax computation, and we're giving you a $9,099 refund as a result. So let's take a look at this. This says tax that you owed was $999.99. You paid $9,999.99, resulting in a $9,000 refund. We owe you some interest, so we calculated that in there. And as a result, we're giving you a refund of $9,099. So if you agree with this, you can just keep this notice for your records and you don't need to do anything at all. And the default position of the IRS is if you don't do anything at all, even if you never received the notice, the IRS basically assumes that you agree with whatever the notice says. So just keep that in mind in the case you receive notices. At the bottom of page 1 is the contact information slip. So if you actually do decide to write the IRS or submit any kind of written correspondence, you'll want to cut this off the bottom of page 1, fill out the preferred phone numbers if applicable, and then attach this correspondence to, or attach this to any correspondence that you have. So put it in the envelope. On the correspondence itself, keep note that you should write this information, your employer ID number, the tax period, and the form number on the correspondence itself, just in case it gets separated from this slip. So if you haven't received your refund, you should receive it within 4 to 6 weeks. A reason you might not receive it is if that tax refund was used to offset tax or other debts that the IRS must collect. So that's called a tax refund offset, where they might offset part of your refund to pay off a debt. So, but if you don't receive anything within that 4 to 6 week time frame, you should probably consider filing IRS Form 3911. That's basically a tracer request for refund checks. So you can go to the IRS website. There's a page on there. You can just Google "Where's my refund?" irs.gov, and you should be able to find that page. The URL seems to change on a regular basis, but you can just Google that, find that, and then see if you can trace it down that way. If you can't, you can file IRS Form 3911, and the IRS will try to track down your refund check. If they find it, and they'll cancel it and reissue a new one to your address. If it's been deposited, then they'll do additional investigations until they get down to the heart of the matter. Below that is some additional information in case you want to appeal a decision. These are some of the outs. Again, if you did want to have that discussion with the IRS, you should probably start with calling them and just talking about the issues that you have with that information. But there is additional detail like, claim for refunds, what your time frame is, statute of limitations, things of that nature. So again, kind of recapping what we already discussed. We found an error. Here's your total taxes, your total credits and payments. And then over here, it's broken down into the different tax deposits and when they were received. And then at the bottom is a list of additional resources, to include a link to the specific CP116 page on the IRS website. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So basically, there's some boilerplate information. It's very similar to the CP notice. Basically, miscalculations on your tax return resulting in a refund, things that you can do or should do. Call us at the phone number, contact us within 60 days. If for some reason you need to appeal, then the IRS will forward the case to an auditor to explain that audit process. So not a whole lot of additional information in that page. Sometimes you get everything that you need in the notice. Sometimes there's a little nugget of information on that web page that wasn't in your notice. So always take the time to take a look at the website to see if there's any additional information. So that's all we have for this video. If we'll put links to articles and videos that we've created to discuss some of the topics and forums mentioned here. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions or comments, or if there's a topic that you'd like to see in an upcoming video, please don't hesitate to hit me up in the comment section. Thank you very much and have a great day.